Hey love bugs, so guess what? The time has come. Today, honey, is my season 2 premiere, and what we decided to do was to give you just a quick recap of all my favorite highlights from season 1. Hi world, it's me, Larraine.
The queen of laughter, the queen of giving, the queen of believing, the queen of talk. The queen of laughter, the queen of giving, the queen of believing, the queen of talk.
No, my teen suicide, I think what the highlight was that we really aren't the only ones that have issues, because on that particular episode, my What's the Tea, who's now Girl Talk, by the way, we spotlighted Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's daughter, from trying to commit suicide. So we all have problems, we all handle them in different ways, and we all do different things to kind of cope with our inner demons, if you would. Or didn't go through with the whole suicide. So that was my highlight, alongside educating all of the suicidal gay youth out there. I've gotten an enormous amount of emails thanking me for touching on a subject like that. I thank you for listening, and I thank you for not killing yourself. There's other options, boo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a clip from that, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is What's the Tea. That Paris Jackson is doing much better from a couple months ago, where she allegedly tried to commit suicide.
Paris Jackson is receiving words of support following her suicide attempt earlier this week, but it's becoming clear just how alone the teenager has felt lately. 4 years after losing her father, she's said to be increasingly estranged from members of her own family, including her older brother. Jim Murray has details.
Paris Jackson's older brother, Prince, is seen in public for the first time since her shocking suicide attempt. He was out on a date in L.A. with his girlfriend, a Kuwaiti royal princess. She's wearing a Buckley shirt, the same exclusive prep school that Prince and Paris attend. The appearance by Prince comes as reports surface that he and Paris had major fights that may have contributed to her suicide attempt. Their rift is reportedly over the growing bond between Paris and their mother, Debbie Rowe. Prince feels Paris is betraying their father by getting close to Debbie, says Us Weekly. Paris and Prince fight all the time. The magazine says Prince calls Debbie Rowe that woman.
Now my next highlight comes from my sit down with Western Mass's biggest nightclub diva, Bianca DeBois. I think that my favorite highlight from that particular interview was the fact that she kept it classy, honey. She showed love to the girls. She set the record straight. She wasn't shady about it. She told pure facts. And she was able to laugh about this whole Craigslist thing that happened. So take a look so you know what I'm talking about.
So what happened was, about 3 weeks ago, I decided to do a cover story on Drag Wars. And so I asked Bianca if she would be an interviewee, and she said yes, and I interviewed a couple of the other girls. And then we left, and then you tell them what happened after that.
Well, the week after, there was this post that was put up on Craigslist about me. We still are undecided whether they were talking about that my fishnets were riding up, or if my legs were too tan for my nylons. Girl, I don't know.
Right, okay. Let's just say there was clocking nothing, honey.
Exactly. They were clocking something or a whole lot of nothing. Needless to say, this spurred this very big response from me to this Craigslist ad that if you had something to say, I was going to have a rebuttal. Whether you were talking about my legs not matching my fucking nylons or whatever, I printed out your picture.
And she handed them, and she autographed
Keep it classy.
with a K. So Bianca DeBois does it classy with a K. So let's speak about that night. That night was dedicated to what?
To the haters. I love my haters as much as I love my fans. you're confused fans as far as I'm concerned, and you keep bitches like me in business. I've never been one to fucking fall for people talking shit. If you have something to say it. You pay to see me every Wednesday. That's all I'm gonna say. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't come. When you pay to get in here, you know what you're getting. End of story. Show hasn't changed. It's never changed. And that's it. If you don't like it, don't come. That's it. That's all it is.
And what I enjoyed about that was, guys, that she really, really, really printed out 100 copies, girl, and signed Classy with a K and gave it to the whole Divas nightclub in Northampton. For that, we salute you, Bianca, girl, and I can't wait to sit down to see what you've been up to. Now, my next highlight from my Trayvon Martin cover story was that I was able to touch on a subject that was reaching the nation, and multi-celebrities from Jamie Foxx to the President of the United States, Barack Obama, to Jay-Z, were really supporting the Martins for the unfortunate death of their son, who was murdered. And the highlight of that particular episode is that I was able to advocate just a little bit and share that story with all of my LGBT followers, because in an essence we feel discriminated against on a day-to-day basis just because we are gay. And Trayvon Martin, fact is, was murdered because he was black in an upper scale neighborhood a little past midnight, and he was killed by the George Zingerman. Take a look at this clip and we'll be right back. Okay, so I remember as a kid doing some hateful things, or things that I'm not proud of. The fact is, one, Trayvon Martin was only 17 and he's dead. Two, he was unarmed. And three, Zingerman has been acquitted. So what's the problem with that, America? Let's see.
To clear the air and to compound the tragedy of Trayvon Martin, it feels as though some people are now trying to do to him in death what George Zimmerman apparently did to him in life, attributing to this young man a character and a personality that they could not possibly know. And yet they persist in imposing upon his slight young frame an identity that implies criminality, juvenile delinquency, and the all-round characteristics of a troublemaker. This is not only deeply offensive to his family, but also a gross form of character assassination upon a child.
Okay, now my next highlight is absolutely one of my favorite memories of season 1. It was my pilot episode. I had the opportunity to sit down with Diva Developer, who was a drag queen whose boyfriend was murdered in front of her about 10 years ago. And it was like one of these love stories from a Fabio kind of romance, and everything was perfect, and they had so much love. And because they were walking home from a hockey game one night in the city of Springfield, Mass, they were targeted as a hate crime, and he was murdered, brutally murdered in front of her. So just take a clip of this and it speaks for itself. But that was probably one of the most touching cover stories that I did with season 1, because it affects us on a day-to-day basis.
They turned around, thank you. Okay. They turned around and they came out, and there were 6 of them. And as they're getting out of the car, they said, "You're gonna die tonight, faggot." They grabbed him, 4 guys grabbed him, and the other 2 grabbed me, and they grabbed me so hard I had marks on my body for 2 weeks. And as they grabbed me and held me in place like cement, one of them on my left-hand side said, "Are you gonna suck his dick when he's dead?" And the other 4 guys started to hit him, punch him, kick him. Vinny drops to his knees, almost as like, "I give up." He's got blood on his face, he's got blood on his lips, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, they're just gonna laugh and they're gonna let us go, you know? And they didn't. One of them takes one of his hands and outstretches his arms like this. And the other gentleman takes his other arm and outstretches it like that. And the third man takes his legs and holds them together. And I hate to use this reference, but it's what it reminded me of, but he looked like Jesus on the cross. The fourth one is laughing and says, "I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it." And he goes back about 20 feet and he starts to run, and he jumps on his head. I'm screaming like no scream you've ever heard in a horror movie. And he's laughing while he's jumping on his head. And I'm screaming, help us, help us, help us. Somebody, Jesus, God, you know, oh, just screaming. And I stopped screaming when I heard the first crack. I went blank because he had crushed his head from here down in his brains, everything. It was crushed in. And it was like I was ripped out of reality.
Give me a hug. Okay, guys, I want to thank you for watching today's episode. I promise you the next episode, we are going to have a phenomenal guest. He's a recording artist. He's a local artist that I've collaborated with that I love for. He's a Latin poppy himself, Savi Mason. So check that out next Monday at 3 p.m. on the Rainbow TV and Frog TV. And with that said, I love you guys. I really, really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of your support, love. Stay beautiful, people. Smooches. Hi, world. It's me, Larraine.
The queen of laughter.